Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, peace at last in the House of Representatives as Femi Gbajabiamila emerges majority leader. Lawmakers in the upper legislative chamber pass vote of confidence on the Senate President and other leaders. President Buhari submits names of the service chiefs to the National Assembly for approval. And U.S. President Barack Obama addresses African leaders in Ethiopia, challenges them to ensure a stable continent.
And in business news tonight, banks and discount houses prepare to enforce the central bank's name and shame directive for delinquent debtors come Friday, July the 31st.
And in sports news, Nigeria's Super Falcons will be without Francisca Odega, Josephine Chukwunoye and Onome Ebi as they prepare for Sunday's Olympic qualifier against Equatorial Guinea.
We begin tonight in the House of Representatives, where frayed nerves appear to have been calmed. The Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, today announced the principal officers, an issue that had divided the lawmakers and stalled proceedings in the House. Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila is the majority leader, a signal that the different factions may have closed ranks on the matter. The Speaker also announced Honorable Buba Jibril as the deputy majority leader, while Honorable Al Hassan Dogwa is the chief whip and Honorable Pali Iriase as deputy whip. The Speaker also announced Leo Ogo as the minority leader of the House. The House had been engrossed in a crisis over the sharing of principal positions since June 9th, when presiding officers were elected. Although the APC leadership has indicated support for Gbajabiamila, who is from the southwest, for leader of the House, the Speaker's group had wanted the position to go to the northwest. A number of interventions by the party in the last 1 month had been futile. Even a meeting called by President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday to mediate into the crisis ended in a deadlock. Following today's decisions, the Speaker has urged members to put the past behind them.
Let me take leave of this House to say that our great party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, along with Mr. President and other party leaders, exhibited uncommon democratic tradition by abstaining from direct interference in the process, and given the manner we conducted the election in this chamber on the 9th of June, I'm persuaded that they do not regret reposing such confidence in us. In this regard, we owe them, ourselves, and indeed all Nigerians a duty to prove that we can conclude this process rancor-free and without denting our party's democratic credentials. This we can do, and I'm confident we shall. As representatives of the people, therefore, we must be the manifestation of their high expectations of good governance, probity, transparency, and accountability. We must be the manifestation of their unmitigated impatience against dormancy in governance, and above all, we must resonate their pains of poverty, squalor, and insecurity.
And it appears the dust raised over the emergence of the 8th Senate leadership on June 9th has also settled as the lawmakers in the upper chamber today passed a vote of confidence on the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, his deputy, Ike Ekweremadu, as well as other leaders announced. One of those announced today by Senator Saraki is Senator Godswill Akpabio, who is now the minority leader of the Senate. Reading a letter submitted by the PDP caucus, Dr. Saraki also listed the names of other officers to include Emmanuel Boacha as deputy minority leader, Philip Aduda as minority whip, and Biodun Olujimi as the deputy minority whip. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate requesting the upper chamber to screen and confirm the service chiefs. The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, read the letter from the President at plenary today, naming the service chiefs to be screened and confirmed. They are Major General Abayomi Olonishakin, Chief of Defense Staff, General T.Y. Burutai, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. The Senate has not fixed a date for the screening of the service chiefs.
Letter from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, President of the Senate Chambers, National Assembly Complex. Appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs for the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In compliance with provisions of Section 18(1) of the Armed Forces Act, Cap 820, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, I hereby forward the names of the underlisted officers for the kind confirmation of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for appointments as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 1. Major General Abayemi Gabriel Lonishaki, Chief of Defense Staff. Major General Tukur Yusuf, retired Chief of Army Staff. Rear Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, Chief of Naval Staff. Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. I look forward, distinguished Senate President, to the usual kind expeditious consideration of the above request by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please accept, as always, the assurances of my highest regards and esteem. Muhammad Buhari.
Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki reading the President's letter. We're staying in the Federal Capital Territory. A federal high court in Abuja has refused to grant an ex parte order seeking to stop the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, from constituting the Senate standing committees. Ruling in the ex parte motion filed and argued by Mr. Maman Osuman on behalf of 5 senators led by Senator Kabir Marafa, Justice Gabriel Kolawole held that there was nothing urgent in what the plaintiffs are asking for. Justice Kolawole said the Senate's Standing Order 2015, as amended upon which the plaintiffs predicated their ex parte motion, had been in existence since June 9th when the Senate President and his deputy were elected. The judge also said that rushing to the court 24 hours to the resumption of the Senate plenary will not be indulged in by any law court because the issue of urgency has become belated. Justice Kolawole further added that the court is not created to supervise the internal affairs of the National Assembly, except if in the conduct of its internal affairs there is an infraction on the Constitution. The wife of the Senate President, Mrs. Toyin Saraki, was at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, for questioning over an alleged case of corruption. Mrs. Saraki was accompanied by dozens of politicians, including some serving senators, and a handful of her supporters to the EFCC's office in Abuja. After about 5 hours with the officials of the anti-graft agency indoors, Mrs. Saraki zoomed off from the premises with her supporters. Neither the accused nor officials of the EFCC told journalists about the latest development. Mrs. Saraki has been accused by the EFCC of being involved in a multi-million naira misappropriation of bank loan and laundering of funds from the Kwara state government, while her husband served as governor of the state. In part 2 after the break, more on the resolution of the leadership crisis in the National Assembly. Please stay with us.